I'm a lion, I'm a hunter, eyes on the prey. I'm the shadow, I'm the night, and I'm the day.
What's happening, guys? How are we doing? Welcome back to Road to the Stage, and in today's episode we will be covering my top 5 tips for building muscle. So we're going to be running through a chest and bicep session today, and in between sets during the session we're going to be talking about the 5 main points that you need to take away and use to get the most out of your training and build as much muscle as possible. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll speak to you soon. Right, so starting with incline Arsenal strength press today before the dumbbell work. So we're doing incline press machine and then incline dumbbells. Sometimes it's nice to do the machines before I do the dumbbell work. When you haven't got a spotter, it allows you to go a little bit lighter on the dumbbells, but obviously you're fatigued from this first machine here, so you're going to be using a little bit less load, so it's easier to get in this position. And also I feel my pecs more so when I do the incline dumbbells on the second exercise, because they're already been worked on this machine here. So machine first, dumbbells after today. Tip number 1, logbook your training every session. Why do we want to do this? Well, we want to see how we are progressing from week to week and month to month. If your logbook is improving in terms of how many reps you're getting, how much more weight you're moving, how much more volume you're doing, your body has no reason but to grow new tissue. There is no way, say for example I just hit that for 6 reps. If I hit that weight for 15 reps, my body has to have new tissue on it in order to move that weight for that many reps. If you do not have a logbook and you're not tracking your progress, how do you know what you hit the week before or the month before? A lot of people, they come in, they just chase the pump and they just wing their sessions. Whilst some people can get away with this, they're generally in the top tier, they're the genetically elite. If you're just an average gym goer and you're looking to build muscle, you should be logbooking your training, looking to improve your weight and the amount of reps you're doing on your top sets or your back off sets, or even if you're doing 3 sets of 12. If you do 3 sets of 12, 100 kilos on a flat bench, in 6 months, you should be able to do 120 for 3 by 12. You will grow, assuming that your food is right as well, but we'll cover that in another video. Just touching up on that logbook point again, obviously it's still possible to progress without tracking your lifts. You should over the months and years get stronger if you're training with intensity and you're eating right. But if you want to be more meticulous in your approach, every rep here or there counts, especially when you become more of an advanced lifter after 2 or 3 years of training. Your progress will slow down, so every rep or 2 here or there is a massive improvement. If you put a rep on your main set of chest press for 4 weeks straight, you've gone from hitting 6 reps to 10 reps. It might not happen that fast. It might take you 3 months to get 4 extra reps. But all that matters is that you're writing that number down and you're going into that next session thinking, right, this is what I need to be. Last week's or the week before that's numbers. Then you know you're 100% progressing in the gym. tip number 2. When selecting a program, if you want to target certain areas, make sure that your program is built around fine-tuning those areas. So if, for example, you feel like you have lagging upper pecs and delts, then it's likely that you want to run an exercise program that puts a lot of emphasis on those areas and maybe lays off of the other muscle groups. Maybe you subtract a bit of volume off of your leg and back sessions to manage fatigue a bit more so that you have more energy when trying to build up those weak areas. So choose a program and stick with it. Today, 7.5 weeks out, 7.5 weeks to dig, and dig. Tip number 3, make sure you do not program hop. Now what I mean by that is, stop changing your program every 1, 2, 3 or 4 weeks. Once you've made that decision to run this program, run that for 3, 4 or 5 months and progress those numbers weekly. People change their exercise selection too often. So they're coming in and they're doing random shoulder sessions. One shoulder session they'll start with side raises and then go into presses, and then the next session they'll do front raises and behind the neck presses. You can't really track your progress doing random sessions. You're not confusing any muscles on your body or forcing any growth by doing that. You'll hear that on silly supplement company websites and, well, not supplement company websites, but people that are trying to sell you stuff will shock this muscle into growth. That's not what we're doing here. If you're getting stronger over the months in the 6 to 25 rep range, you're building tissue, regardless of if you did the same exercise for 6 months or not. My program that I've been running for prep, I've been doing for 3.5 months. Well, that was before prep even started. I will be running this same program up until September, so that probably would be about a 6-month total. There might be some minor tweaks in there, and I will run through when to change exercise selection another day, but the majority of your exercises should stay the same, and your program should stay the same week to week, and you're just getting stronger and having more volume within those sessions. That's how you grow new tissue. Get good at the basics and drill them and drill them and drill them until there is no end point. You just continuously drilling again. You need to ensure that you're training to failure, or at least very close to failure. A lot of people that are not training to true failure are missing out on a lot of muscle growth. If you're stopping 4 or 5 reps early on a set and you have more reps in the tank and you're stopping early, then you're not stimulating the fibers as much as you could. But with that same token, you can take it a step too far and you can train to failure too often. This will mean over a long period of time, say for example 3 months, a lot of fatigue will build up early, which means you won't be able to keep up the same intensity week to week. It's not about the intensity of one session or 1 week's worth. It's about the structured intensity over a long period of time. You're not going to build a lot of muscle in 4 weeks. You are, however, going to build a lot of muscle in a year, but you need to manage fatigue wisely. If you train to failure every session on every movement, you'll burn out by week 3 or 4 of your program. And then what happens is you can't keep up with the amount of volume you're supposed to be doing, so you actually get weaker and you don't progress your logbook. Then what happens is you either regress or you stay the same, and then you run into overuse injuries like tendonitis. So make sure that you're trained to failure wisely. You want to be trained to failure on your compounds and your isolation, but on your isolation you're going to get away with it more so, because obviously there's a lot less fatigue involved in isolation movements. Whereas with your big compounds like squats, deadlifts, they're very fatiguing. So that's why a top set and a back off set is great for the heavy movements. And then you can opt to do slightly more volume on your isolations, you know, 3 or 4 sets here or there. So make sure you're trained to failure or close to, but you're also managing your fatigue wisely so that you can continue to train to failure over the months, but you're still progressing even though you're pushing it at 80 or 90%. Don't go 100% too soon. Don't blow your load. I'm using the cuffs here for a much better contraction of the chest. Got the 1MR cuffs. Got the 1MR cuffs, best cuffs in the game by the way, along with the t-shirts. Now the cuffs are allowing me to get a really good contraction of the pecs, but I see a lot of people when doing cuff movements, they have their hands open. What I want you to do, even when doing cuff movements, still grip your hands as tight as possible. Imagine you are holding on to something. It gives you that neurological drive as if you're tensing up. Some people are too relaxed. Even though they're cuffed, you don't hold on to nothing. I'd still advise using the cuffs, but tensing as hard as you can and squeezing as hard as possible. You've seen me use them for my delt work. The side head of my delt has blown up compared to, you know, before I used to do the cuff lateral raises, and now I'm doing the cuff pec flies today and they feel really nice. And that moves into tip number 5 of how to build muscle. Make sure you're focusing on both the eccentric and concentric portions of the movement, and you're not winging either part of those. So a lot of people, they'll just forget the eccentric and they'll just drop down and be bouncing the weight. Same with the concentric. They'll be explosive, but they won't feel what's working. My advice, make sure you're getting a 2 to 3 second on the eccentric so you feel that muscle lengthening under tension. You're going to be stronger on the eccentric than you are the concentric, right? That's why things feel light on the way down and sometimes you can't press it up. Feel the muscle lengthen. In other videos I've mentioned pausing either end if you have to feel what it feels like in that position. So when you're doing these cuff chest flies, get 2 or 3 seconds down, feel your chest opening up. Pause in that stretch position to feel what that stretched chest feels like. Then come in 1 to 2 seconds. You can be slightly more explosive on the concentric of movements, I would advise that. But after you've established that mind-muscle connection, so tip number 5, establish the mind-muscle connection from day 1. Do not chase weight on the bar. Make sure you're feeling what's working, and after a good year of that, then your body, your nervous system knows what to fire up automatically. When I do a squat, I can drop down fast and explode out. That doesn't mean I'm not using my legs. My body has learnt to fire up my quads and glutes explosively. But for someone new, when I see them squatting or deadlifting, they're bouncing deadlifts off the floor, they're not contracting the muscles as efficiently as they should be, which means they're not stimulating the muscle fibers. Earn the right to move the weight explosively, but you do that by establishing the mind-muscle connection first by doing a slow eccentric, pauses both ends, and a controlled concentric. Hope you enjoyed that session, guys. Those are my top 5 tips on how to build as much muscle as possible. Make sure you take those tips away with you. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to shoot me a message. My Instagram is LukeBlakePT. I hope you're enjoying the YouTube series. It's been great so far filming at Muscle Works. We're going to be travelling around in the next few episodes, so we're going to head to Crayfords and Kings, just for a bit of a different atmosphere and to use some different machinery as well. So make sure you stay tuned to that. Make sure you comment underneath what you want to see. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Again, thank you so much for the support. 7.5 weeks out. Let's do this. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you soon.